Hey, what's going on, friends and family? What is the most fun game of all time? I'm going to ask you to leave that in the comments below, and I'm going to ask that you do that right now, actually. Before you watch the rest of the video, go ahead, type it out. What is the most fun game of all time for you at this moment? Leave it in the comments below. And then once we finish the video, then go back and kind of explain your enlightenment or maybe your perspective change, or just add in some thoughts and feelings after the video, after we kind of rant and ramble about this. And does your answer change then? Does it stay the same? Why does or doesn't it? And I think this will be, just a fun little thing to do, and I think it'll be kind of educational for a lot of people. So, fun. What is the most fun game of all time? Leave it in the comments below. But really, what is fun? Hey Vsauce, Skylent here. But no, seriously, whenever I went to Full Sail University for video game design, the very first thing that we were taught, kind of, sort of, was that fun wasn't exactly always needed in a video game. Like, not every game, video game or otherwise, analog games, board games, not every game needs to be fun. And actually, fun is a little bit, it's kind of a vague definition, but it sometimes means something very specific. So let's go ahead and look it up on Google, the dictionary here. So as a noun, it means enjoyment, amusement, or lighthearted pleasure. So enjoyment and then separated from lighthearted pleasure, that's kind of something very vague versus very specific. So when we're looking at designing games and you're trying to design very specific emotions and experiences and reactions, you're probably thinking, okay, I want this part to be fun. I want this, or as a whole, to be a light-hearted, pleasurable experience. But not every game, and you can immediately think of a few, are designed like that truly. Like, some are entirely based around the concept of punishment, of maybe not being so great. So getting over it is not so happy of an experience overall. It's really not so gratuitously positive. I think that's really, when we think of fun, we generally associate it with just anything that's good. Like, is the game good? Did I have an okay time with it? Like, do I think it's a masterpiece or not? A lot of people associate just a good game with just overall fun. Like, a lot of people look at Dark Souls and stuff like that and like, oh man, that's such a fun game. But not really. And I'm not saying Dark Souls doesn't have fun to it, but I think the portion of the game that's tuned for fun is greatly more diminished and in some ways enhanced because it's punishing. So yeah, fun it's not as often, and the fun experience isn't as in your face, but because of the punishment and because of how slow paced the game is and how very specific the game is designed, whenever the fun does hit, it spikes and it hits you in the face. And sometimes it really just is supposed to be punishing. It really is just supposed to be really more of a mountain to climb. And yeah, there's literally a game about getting kind of over a mountain. It's called Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. And it's literally designed as just a completely punch to the gut wrenching experience, punishment. It is just there to slap you in the face. And it is a pretty popular game right now, especially on streams and YouTubers. And it's not really a fun game. Its mechanics aren't exactly super duper fun. It's not something that, it's not aesthetically really pleasing to the eye. It's a really harsh game overall with its design, mechanics, aesthetics. I don't think you could really call this a fun game. It's not that it's a bad game, and it's not that it's a cool experience. It's a unique experience. I think it's a good thing to experience, but that doesn't mean exactly it's fun. So immediately, I wouldn't doubt if a lot of you guys answered with games like Dark Souls, or maybe some really, a lot of horror games, probably, like a lot of VR horror games too, or first-person horror games, like, oh man, Amnesia, and then you have the new Resident Evil, really fun games. But horror games are actually specifically designed as a genre to not be fun. They're horror, as in that is specifically the emotion that it wants to evoke. Almost no other emotion is it really supposed to focus on. That's why it's one of the very few video game genres that is not named after a specific mechanic like first person or fighting. It is specifically designed around this singular emotion that it wants to evoke: horror. Yeah. Hard to kind of call those games fun. I'm trying to think of a fun horror game. It's really, they're just really focused on being horrific. So, whenever we look at a lot of these games and a lot of these comments, I want to see if somebody changes their mind. Where they said like a game was really good, like, yeah, but they called it fun. Oh, the most fun game ever was, you know, this game or that game. And then hopefully afterwards, they're like, oh wait, actually, now that you said that, Sky, now that I think about it, I just relate fun with being good. I just relate, you know, that sort of experience. And, you know, that's not wrong. Like, the definition of fun is super vague. Like, truly, it is. It just means enjoyment. Like, you can enjoy punishments. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I think most gamers do. That's why we play video games. Otherwise, we would just watch movies. We would just read books and manga. And yeah, like, you can't really be punished in those. But games, you have to actually overcome something, or you have choices to make. You're going to lose out on something somewhere, sometime, somehow. Even super linear games, there's always something to it that you have to interact with, and it takes a little bit of effort. So I think gamers, in a way, do enjoy a little bit of punishment. There's almost no game that is just pure fun, but there are some. And I would probably have to say games like Donkey Kong, games like Mario, especially new Mario Odyssey. Yeah, a lot of people are loving that. Games with like a lot of physics interactions and games that allow you to really experiment. Those are the kind of games that have very little limitations, but so many possibilities that I think are truly fun. I think those are the ones that people would associate, and I think accurately, with fun. So I think if you see answers like Super Mario Odyssey, I would say it's hard to say that there's a wrong or right answer, but in terms of game design and when looking to approach games with a certain perspective, like maybe a healthy perspective, I think that that's probably the way to go. Like, if you want to play Mario Odyssey and you think it's a fun game and you think it will be a fun experience, well, you're not wrong. It's going to be hella fun. But if you're looking at getting over it and you see all these people playing it, or you see people Dark Souls in it up, Bloodborne, stuff like that, all the Soulsborne games. If you see people playing Souls-like games and you think, oh man, all these people are playing it, it must be fun. You know, you're gonna kind of have a bad time. You're not gonna have a great time, probably, because you're going into it with kind of a mixed perspective. Maybe you're not getting the whole picture there, and that's unhealthy. And the game developers, when they design these games, they're not expecting you to go in like that. You know, they're not expecting you to expect something. Not like Dark Souls is not a Devil May Cry. I mean, Devil May Cry can be punishing as hell too, but it's not a Bayonetta, okay? It's not that. Dark Souls is a very specific thing. Ain't no Bayonetta, no. So that's all I really want to kind of get across here is just, you know, just kind of enlighten you guys that, hey, fun means a couple different things, and whenever you're going into a video game, you should try to appreciate it for what it is. Obviously, I say that in so many editorials. But when it comes to this idea of fun and reward and getting your money's worth or your time's worth out of a game, it's not always about fun. I think one other genre that I can think of is something really slow-paced like a 4X. So when I first started playing 4Xs, I was playing Civilization, and I had a pretty good time with Civilization. I think it is pretty fun. It's funny. There's a lot of humor in it if you read between the lines, and it's pretty educational. But something like Endless Legend takes itself way more seriously, and I didn't exactly have fun in the beginning. And it's kind of hard to say I'm having fun exactly whenever I am playing the game, because I never win. It's super long, drawn out, but that's not to say I'm having a bad experience. I'm learning a lot. It's a very educational experience for me, especially since I'm really analyzing its game design, and I'm learning about the lore of the whole universe because it ties into all their other games. And there's so much stuff going on with the game. But it's not like I'm, you know, jumping on my hat, double jumping, you know, I'm not taking over the bodies of dinosaurs and stuff like that. It's really hard to say fun, but it's good. It's not bad, and I don't regret it, and it is worth. So I just kind of wanted to separate, for a lot of you guys, separate the idea that a game being fun equals a game being worth. And because, especially with online games, a lot of you go into it, you know, we cover competitive games here and MMOs, you go into it thinking that it's immediately going to just be fun, that it's just instantaneously like, oh man, a game, you should play a game for fun. No, actually, no, you shouldn't. I don't think you should play a game for fun. I think you should play a game for a experience. You know, whatever experience you're wanting at the moment, hopefully you are looking for games that have that specific experience. Like, if you want to be scared, then maybe you shouldn't be playing a Mario game. I don't know, Luigi's Mansion, debatably, but If you want to be scared, you play a horror game, or you might go into something like a darker action RPG, like Diablo's kind of got some horror. Diablo 2, Path of Exile, and Dark Souls. Maybe you can stretch that far. But if you want to have fun, it actually is kind of more of a specific thing with video games. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say there. I kind of reiterated just a little bit, but I just get this question sort of a lot, or is it even really a question? I get a statement that's more in line with the thoughts of like, why do you like League of Legends? League of Legends, it's not fun, it sucks. Or Dota, it's so slow and boring. Why do you keep putting it in top 10? I get these things, and I kind of see their perspective of where they're coming from, and I just think that it's not exactly healthy going into games like that. Not every game, especially competitive games, it's not always about having fun. Not exactly. And this happens so often to me in Overwatch, playing with a bunch of people, and they're like, I don't want to play Mercy, she's not fun, and games are supposed to be fun. Well, no, games aren't supposed to be fun. Not always. You know, what you feel as fun and what you want out of a game doesn't always have to be that word fun. It doesn't. There's more ways to play a game. There's more to get out of a game, achieve out of a game, than just fun. Especially when it comes to online games and you're playing with people and it's a matter of winning or losing, there's more nuance to games than just being fun or not being fun. So hopefully you guys see that now. I want to know, does your answers change? Did you answer with like Super Mario Odyssey? Because then I really can't contest it. I don't think anybody in the whole world could debate. Like, yeah, that's probably one of the most fun, if not the most fun game in the world. Yeah, probably. But let's see. What do you guys say in the comments below? Let me know your thoughts and feelings. But that's just my experience from education and literally my experience of playing thousands of games over these past my life. So yeah, I do have fun playing games. I do have fun making videos, but sometimes it's more educational. Sometimes the experience, well, there's just more to it. And of course, that comes with making the videos as well and interacting with you guys in the Discord. So don't be afraid to be mean or to be harsh and to be real with your criticisms on these videos, on whatever the topic we're talking about. Join us in the Discord. Let's argue. That's fine too. Not everything needs to be super positivity. Not everything needs to be good. And that's cool. That's cool. Sometimes it's a good experience to not have fun. Yeah. Anyways, guys, that's my thoughts. Hope you guys had fun. Much love. I'll see you in the next one.